comics accurate Catwoman and a skinny boy, emo Batman? Can he pull off a new vision as good as some of the old Batman movies are? And in short, he does and he doesn't, and we're gonna get right into this right now. But before I go any further, if you like this type of content, if you like me dressed up in masks, doing ASMR reviews for things, or if you like any of the other stupid things that the Fat Mantis does for you, please think about subscribing to Voice of the Fat Mantis. All you have to do is like, share this, and subscribe. Tell your friends about it. The Fat Mantis has a lot more wonderful, amazing things for you. You're never going to believe the crazy plethora of knowledge you're going to get from the Fat Mantis. All you got to do is subscribe to get it all. Going into the movie, it actually starts in amazement. My jaw dropped as they had beautiful, slow-paced, perfectly paced, tension-building scenes about the life and times of Batman 2 years into his career. The characters, the images throughout the entire piece jumped from the page into the room with you. They all looked like if they didn't belong in a comic that already existed, that one should be created. We should call Mark Miller right now, or Grant Morrison, or whoever it is that should be writing a current Batman piece, because there was a lot of great imagery there. The cinematography and the way they shot certain things, particularly the car chase scene, was amazing. So much was well realized, and it is such a shame that for a movie that I really liked the first hour and a half of, the second hour and a half was tedious, hard to sit through, dragged on, and had illogical plots and concepts which violated the very concepts of Batman. I feel as if Matt Reeves has made something similar to The Last Jedi, where a lot of critics and people who think they're smart, pretentious types, are gonna say this movie is genius, but I don't actually think it is really accessible to the common man. I think the common man is gonna want more action, which the movie was lacking sophisticated action. It didn't really look like it had a fight coordinator, as the fight scenes were just so-so. If you really think about it, in an action movie, we all sometimes turn on an action movie just to skip to the action pieces, and we all know that a good fight scene is just as important as a good plot in an action film. And even though this is a noir, at the end of the day, Batman is also action, and yet none of the fights seemed to land. They were just boring. I used to criticize Chris Nolan for his lack of being able to film a good fight until I met Matt Reeves. Now I realize Nolan is more genius than I ever could have imagined. Now, other than this complaint I just had, I gotta say, there are 3 major complaints that haunted this film that prevented me from giving this an amazing masterpiece or love mark on its report card. And the first one is the length. This movie was entirely too long for no reason at all. Like I said, everything was slow-paced and all such things, and they had so many subplots. There was actually 2 major plots, one about the Mafia and Catwoman, and the other about the Riddler, and to be honest, there was no need to have the extent of all of them. Maybe they could have had half a plot, but the other one half in the next movie. Who knows? But at a certain point of making a long movie, it becomes masturbation. That's right, masturbation, I said it. Matt Reeves masturbated all over the film. Well, it's a digital film, but same difference. And then tried to market it to mainstream people, and the Fat Mantis is not having it. I became antsy in my seat, and trust me, I like a long, drawn-out, boring movie as much as the next guy. Think about it this way. I was a huge Downton Abbey fan. So yeah, I should be able to sit through that if I can sit through hours of that. However, this movie did not land it. Next, a true horrible thing has happened. And here's the thing. The movie hinges on the differences they made of certain characters. They changed the Penguin. They changed the Riddler. They changed Batman and Bruce Wayne. They changed Alfred. However, I could almost all of the changes they made, except for Bruce Wayne, who was one of the most important characters not to mess up. They had warned us already. He was going to be a skinny boy, emo Batman, who sits alone in his castle and broods and acts like a reclusive rock star, and that's what we got. But the problem is that part of a major part of psychology of comic book and also other genre Bruce Wayne is that he knows to put on an act like he's not depressed, like he's a fun-loving playboy when he's not in his castle, when he's not alone like that. And unfortunately, he carried this throughout the film, making the scenes with Bruce Wayne unbearable. I sometimes wanted to blurt in the strain, put your damn costume on, because you are not Bruce Wayne. Just be Batman all the time, please. I'll say this is culminated in a scene that I really did not like, and it's the funeral scene. With the exception of Carmine Falcone, Bruce Wayne attends a funeral, and he has a conversation with at least 5 other people other than the crime boss, and they speak to him, and they're speaking normal conversations, and he would just stare at them with an emo look without reciting a single line back at them, like some sort of creep or an alien. It would probably make me think, if I was the mayor or if I was the guy he met there or one of the police officers, I would have immediately thought he was the Riddler because he was so damn creepy. That's not what you want in a Batman. I know, we all know you want sex appeal, but you want to see your hero, and that is no hero of me. Hashtag not my Batman. Now, that's pretty bad, and we've had two things that clearly are taking off the marks. But my biggest, most heinous crime that truly made me not enjoy this film is that Batman was a loser. Yes, a loser. I just said it, Batman was a loser, and I mean in that he never won. Let's hear a list of things that if you notice that throughout the film, every time he encountered anything to do with the Riddler or any type of hardship, he would fail at it. The Riddler would always get the best of him. Batman failed to save any of the people on the Riddler's murder list. That's right, the serial killer got away with murdering everyone he wanted to murder, except for Bruce Wayne. But we all understand that one. He failed to save Alfred or protect Alfred, one of his own people, in his own house. When he had Carmine Falcone in his custody, he fails to save him. He's literally murdered right in front of him, because that's how pathetic this Batman is. He was unable to suss out the idea that there is a Riddler-inspired cult of incels all meeting in a chat room. I'll tell you something. The FBI, the NSA, the CIA, they find cults like this literally every day. They hunt them down and they find them. Batman is supposed to do the things that normal cops and normal crime agencies can't do because of his gadgets and his genius, and he didn't even figure that out until it was far too late. And finally, he allows the Riddler to execute a truly heinous terroristic attack at the end that kills a bunch of people, floods Gotham, and just destroys everything. Batman has 0 wins. And let me ask you, what type of superhero is that? That's no superhero of mine. That is not Batman. They could have helped Adam do something. And the problem is that in the beginning of the film, Commissioner Gordon vouched for Batman, even though the rest of the cops didn't like this. They wanted this shut down, and he was said, no, this guy right here is cool. He's going to solve crimes with us. He's going to do it. Batman solved nothing and only interfered with the police's activities. I'll give you an example. In the scene at the end of the funeral, when the guy comes out, I believe his name is Gil Coulson. He's the I think the district attorney, he has a bomb strapped to his neck, and he has a phone in his hand strapped on with duct tape, and the Riddler's calling because he wants to play a sick game with him. The bomb squad comes to Gil Coulson to help get the bomb off, but instead Batman comes out of the shadows, and Batman wants to have a conversation with him. Now, during that scene, Batman helps him by telling him the riddles, but takes no effort to get the collar off, and at the end of the scene, Coulson is blown sky high, meaning that Batman only did was stop the police bomb squad robot from doing its job. Batman should have been arrested right at that moment, and I believe they attempted to, which goes on to the story further, but it just kind of shows you what's going on. I understand that Matt Reeves is trying to pitch to the edgelords, but honestly, not everyone in the world is an edgelord, and if you're an edgelord that thinks this is the type of Batman for you, well, you'll be in my prayers, because it's sick and twisted. At least give our hero a few victories. Ultimately, at the end of the day, I'm going to say the first 3 hours of this movie were great, but the last 4 were unbearable. I give this movie a C-. There you have it. There is the Fat Mantis's The Batman Spoiler Review ASMR. I hope you enjoyed it.